prison farmland, I know.
Welcome to the London City Council meeting. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silent reflection. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk, would you please take the roll call?
Eads. Peters.
Here.
Robinson.
Here.
Hayes. Hitt.
Here.
Stahl.
Present.
Smith.
Here.
All right. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at the minutes from our last meeting? All right, any changes, corrections, questions, anything? All right. All in favor of approving those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Communication and announcements. We do have a liquor license request. And this again is for, it's 15 Below LLC doing business as the London 101. And if you remember, they applied for another liquor license, but the liquor license they applied for the revitalization district, they would have needed to have, I think, 75% of their sales as food, but they're not going to have food. So now they need to apply for a D1, which is a beer, D2, and D3 liquor license, which is D2 is for wine, D3 is for liquor, but there are no D1 permits currently available. So this is an application for a D2, which is wine, and a D3, which is liquor sales. So they'll have to wait for a D1 or work that out some other way. So this is their request for a D2 and a D3 liquor license. All right, so all in favor of approving that, say aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed, same sign. All right, thank you. Moving on to audience concerns, we have first, we have Brent McDaniels. If you'll come to the podium, state your name, address, and you have 5 minutes, please.
Yeah, Brent McDaniels, 1051 Amherst Boulevard. I just came here to ask City Council, instead of constantly raising our taxes and allowing the water department to raise our rates and fees nonstop, if you'd consider privatizing the water department, taking the millions of dollars you save from that every year to build a police station that you say we need, and take care of the fire department, and I think it's limitless, the money we could save. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next we have Michael Norman. Please state your name, address, and you have 5 minutes, please.
Michael W. Norman, 188 South Oak Street here in the great city of London, Ohio. I want to voice a little bit of a concern. We're told to come to these meetings and other meetings to get information straight from the administration and straight from you guys. My concern is the accuracy that we've been getting on some of this information. I expect, and I think most people expect, that when we come to you with a question, that your answer would be either the appropriate answer, the proper answer, the correct answer, or notification that, hey, we need to check into this. But what I'm seeing more and more often is we're just, from council and some of the people in administration, is that we're just kind of spouting off information as fact. And then when it's checked, you find out that what we've been told isn't actual. As recently as the last meeting, we were told if we privatize, our bills would, go up astronomically. It would be astronomical. That word was just repeatedly used. And doing research, Delco was one of the places I looked. They're a private water company. Their rates are actually lower than ours. So, that's an inaccurate statement that, anybody popping in that didn't do any research would assume coming from one of our representatives as being fact, and it wasn't. We've also been told within the past month or so that there has been no new taxes since the EMS has came in. I feel that is also inaccurate because me personally, my taxes did go up because we retracted the tax credit. So therefore, retracting that tax credit did increase my taxes. And the reason you did that, when Ms. Russell was still on council, she said specifically that money was to be used for the fire and EMS. So to say that the city kept its promise and did not raise taxes to support the EMS is another not accurate statement. So I would request that future, if you don't know the answer, just say, hey, we don't know, we need to research it. And I'll wait, and I think most people will wait for an accurate answer than to, stand before us and say, this is the way it is, and that isn't necessarily true. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Because we definitely want to make sure we're giving correct information to the public.
I'd like to address that real quick.
Yes.
So Delco, because I saw some weird video you made. So Delco is somewhat similar to what we have now, okay? They're a 501c12. So this would be very similar to us. Let's say we decided to partner with West Jefferson, the county, and we formed a water district, okay? We already have a BPU board. So Delco really doesn't apply to, apples to apples, or excuse me, I don't know if you go apples or, I don't know, let me just start it. Delco's a little bit of a different situation, okay? They have a board, so they're not run for profit. From what I saw, Delco, they're a district. Delco's not gonna come down and take over our water plant, buy our water plant, and then take over it, okay? So there was, I think Brent had posted, what was the other company? Okay. Yeah. Delco's very similar to what we have now, okay? So we don't pay for our water through taxes. You get billed through that. So you have a separate board that is running that. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
At will, they keep raising their rates and their fees. Now you're going to get fines for misusing the water. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So here's one question, okay? Like that I do not know the answer to, that I would have to research, is like, let's say Aqua, is that what they're called? Yeah. So to me, well, first thing, that would be amazing. If they want to come in and buy everything that we own, fix everything we've got, give us profit sharing, and have a lower water bill, yeah, why would I not want to sit down and talk to them?
Well, this water department's been playing catch up for at least the last 2 years. You need to get ahead of it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
The problem again, when we build new houses.
Serica, you use the microphone? Because there's people in the recording that probably want to hear what you're saying, and they can't even hear you, because you're saying some pretty good stuff. So,
You're wanting to build more houses and bring more people here, and you've been playing catch-up with the water department for at least 20 years. You need to get ahead of the problems instead of always playing catch-up with it.
Yeah.
It's just getting.
Yeah, I agree with you. So what you have now, you have a very competent board. And so what they have done has been fixing a lot of the issues that we've been having. That's why they're looking at what they're looking at is, so, okay, we're getting to our max. Now, I do want to be clear, the houses, Pulte can build houses, whether or not we approve it or not, through any of the zoning, it's already zoned to where they can put houses. My opinion, they want to make the streets, instead of 2-lane streets and 2-sided parking, they want 2 lanes and 1-sided parking. I don't know that, but that's one thing I saw that changes.
Right, and I don't have a problem at
Yeah,
all with
right.
more houses being built here and more
Right.
people moving here.
So what we're trying to do
But
is get ahead.
Get a grip on the water situation
Yes.
instead of playing catch-up and telling somebody when you're low on water that, you're gonna get a $500 fine for,
Sure.
watering your tulips,
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, which I did look, it was interesting going through the handbook. There was actually already something in the handbook that BPU already had authority to where that they could tell people to shut off the water. Now, but even if, like, let's just say, Brent, or not even if, once we get all the water situated, still totally unforeseen things can happen. So there's going to be times where we could still have to say, hey, we need to slow down our water usage. I mean, many cities that, once aquifers start getting so low, okay, once they start dropping, the pumps start losing suction, and you can see that on a graph. So it doesn't matter how many, water stations in a sense we have, we got to make sure that that water is in the ground for us to be able to pump out, right? Now, the other company, if like I said, what they said sounds amazing. They buy everything, fix everything, they give us profit sharing. Now, they look like they're a little bit more of a for-profit, so
you're
they're
not
different
throwing-
from Delco.
And you're not throwing more money into it every year. That's money you could use for a police station, rec center, take care of the fire
Yeah,
department.
now I can tell you, like with Rumpke, okay, because let's talk about it. So I sat down with Rumpke when I first got on council, and we wanted to look at privatizing the trash. That was my thought, was we needed to stop having the government run the trash. Well, I say government, but it's still technically ran by a board, so it's not the government in a sense. We still do have authority, so if they don't do what we like, you come to us, you don't like it, you vote us out, or we go to them and, whatever. But anyways, I went to Rumpke and I sat down with them. The first initial estimate, okay, that we were given, Joe Russell and I, we sat at a table, was we would start at $21 a month, up to $23 a month, and then it was gonna go $1 more every month. So minimum, right now, we would be at $24 a month, up to $27 a month, and we were gonna receive less services. And I can tell you, and then it did not cover the city, street department, water department, anybody like that having their trash picked up in their dumpsters or whatever, so we probably would have been even higher.
Rumpke's one of the higher. one
Yes.
of the more
Well,
expensive ones.
that's somewhat true, but Rumpke is the only one that'll give us an estimate for anything, and it's super weird, but right now, here we are. We're in our 3-year contract, right? We're trying to negotiate. Now, I finally have Republic speaking to me about taking over our, out at the dump, the compactor, and picking that up for us. Waste Management, they actually responded. This is like the first time I've been on council. They want no part of it. Rumpke, as of right now, is the only one that is even bringing a bid tomorrow, unless I can talk Republic into giving us a bid.
Okay, but we're gonna look into water.
Yeah.
Water, great, thank you.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
All right, yes. Thank you.
Okay, so here we go. So Delco, let's throw that to the side because it is technically a nonprofit, but it is still a private company.
It does say
okay?
that by
And
definition,
it is
yes.
still giving a better price than ours.
If they
But
are, yeah,
Aqua
I take your
also-
word for it.
Well, it's right, you should do
Sure.
research. You're
Yeah.
the
They
BPU guy.
can't, they're not gonna come do our water, so what does it matter? Why do I need to research Delco? They're not gonna come
Well,
and do
because
London
if you're
water.
looking for cost-effective ways to do something,
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't you do the research? But what I'm saying is, Mr. Smith, is that you stood here on this stage
Yeah.
and proclaimed astronomically, if we were to do it, not that we were going to do it, but if
Sure.
we were to do it, it would be astronomical.
Yeah.
And it's not. You gave false information.
No, it was not false. Have you proved that it was wrong?
Yes, because you go to the site, you look at
To
their
where?
water rates,
To
and you
where?
look at our water rates, Delco's.
Okay. Delco can't service us.
Okay, but they're providing water. Our BPU
They're
provides
not
water.
providing water just for one city. It's a huge district. Do you understand? What I said, there's nothing you have shown that
Okay.
it was false.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay. All right, you can kind of twist it around, but
That's not
If-
twisting it around. That's
if
a
you
fact.
if you live in Delaware,
Yeah.
you get your water from Delco. If I live here in London, I get my water from the BPU.
I never said we had the lowest water in the state, did I?
No, but what you
Yes.
proclaimed was if
we
we
privatized
privatize,
it,
it'll be
our bill would
astronomical.
go up.
And again, Aqua still has lower rates than we do.
We don't know
Tiffin,
that.
all you have to do is go to
We
the
don't
cities.
know. What
I
are
do know because I looked. I looked it up. Tiffin is one of the cities.
That
If you look
could
up
be very
Tiffin's
true.
water
That could be
rates,
very
they're
true.
lower than ours. They're privatized.
Right.
If they
So-
come in, if Aqua comes in and they want to buy all of our problems and give us a lower rate, I'm all for it.
But I'm not, it's
At
not.
this
it's not a-
moment, there's no proof that they would lower our, giving everything to them would lower our water bill. There's no proof.
It's not a discussion of whether we do it or not. It's the discussion of you proclaim that if we did it. And
Yes.
you're saying right now,
I
you
still
don't know.
believe that it would cost more.
But
Yes,
what you
I still
believe and what you say is you represent, you're the guy, you're the BPU guy,
Listen,
you're the
find
answer
us
man.
cheaper water company and I'll be happy to speak to them.
And then to go back to the new housing, another concern I have with the new housing is I'd love to have it, everybody wants it, but this deal that we're trying to pass, there's a section in there. I understand that poultry could put the houses in if with or without this, but the one thing that this has that I cannot find, and if they were just to do it themselves, is they're kind of pulling the city in to be responsible, that if the city cannot provide the proper water capacity for them to build, can the city then be held liable? Because in this legislation, if you look, I think it's Section 7C, where it says that the city has told them that they will be, that we will be able to provide water. If for some reason we can't, can then this company come back on the city and sue us for not fulfilling our need? Whereas if we don't approve this and they decide to build on their own and we don't have the water to do it, then it's not the same.
Okay, so in the negotiations of that, Rex, were you part of that, or is this something we would need to check with Jennifer on? Law director? Okay, so we can check with the law director on that.
Because
to see if
that's
we
been
would be
something from
held.
the beginning that I
Right.
wondered is right now, it's a deal between the landowner and poultry.
Right.
But if we pass this, that pulls us in,
Yeah, Pulte Group.
poultry's what you eat, right? Poultry. Anyways, they're a bunch of chicken. But anyways, I'm just saying that kind of pulls us
Right.
into, as a third party now, though, where if we don't provide that proper water,
Well, I'm not sure how, we'd have to check with the law director, so I'm not sure how far it would pull us in. But if they're gonna build in our city, they need to know that we have the water capacity.
Right.
So that's definitely a question for the law director, and I guess it would be between the law director and their building.
All we have done is, in planning commission, was approve their PUD.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, that's
All you guys
exactly
are
the
doing is
PUD.
approving their PUD. Okay?
That's it.
All right.
right, but by approving the PUD.
A
Mayor-
multi-million-dollar company is not gonna come in and build 236 homes if they cannot have water and sewer, or have the capacity.
Well, but you've told them, or the city, I'm sorry, not you
Okay.
personally, but we have told them that we will be able to provide that water.
All the planning commission did was pass the planned unit development. All
Yeah,
council
that's
is
it.
doing is passing the PUD.
Okay. I just, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's see here. And next we have Anita Likens.
Good evening. Anita Likens, 157 East First Street. I'm taking you back to 1964. This is a speech by Ronald Reagan well before he started political interactions. Matter of fact, 2 years before he ran for governor. But it says a lot, and I think I will continue reading it, but probably for a couple sessions. So, it was called The Speech. It's a time for choosing. During the 1964 presidential campaign, the Republican Party officials in California, who knew his powerful message and delivery, asked him to film a speech on behalf of a Republican candidate, Barry Goldwater at the time. So this is just a transcript of that. So then he references for ground stomping for Barry Goldwater, you can kind of just push to the side here. So he states, thank you very much. Thank you and good evening. since this is a televised thing, he said, "The sponsor has been identified, but unlike most television programs, the performer hasn't been provided with a script. As a matter of fact, I've been permitted to choose my own words and discuss my own ideas regarding the choice that we face in the next few weeks. I have spent most of my life as a Democrat. I recently have seen fit to follow another course. I believe that the issue confronting us cross party lines. Now, one side in this campaign has been telling us that the issues of this election are the maintenance of peace and prosperity. The line has been used, "We've never had it so good." But I have an uncomfortable feeling that this prosperity isn't something on which we can base our hopes for a future. No nation in history has ever survived a tax burden that reached a third of its national income. Today, 37 cents out of every dollar earned in this country is the tax collector's share. And yet our government continues to spend $17 million a day more than the government takes in. We haven't balanced our budget 28 out of the last 34 years. We've raised our debt limit 3 times in the last 12 months. And now our national debt is 1.5 times bigger than all combined debts of all the nations of the world. We have $15 billion of gold in our treasury, but we don't own an ounce. Foreign dollar claims are $27.3 billion, and we've just announced that the dollar of 1939 will now purchase 45 cents in total value. As for the peace that we would preserve, I wonder who among us would like to approach the wife or mother whose husband or son has died in South Vietnam and ask them if they think this is a peace that should be maintained indefinitely. Do they mean peace, or do they mean we just want to be left in peace? There can be no real peace with one American is dying in some place of the world for the rest of us. We are at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars. And it's been said if we lose that war and in doing so, lose this way of freedom, this history will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening. Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. Not too long ago, 2 friends of mine were talking to a Cuban refugee, a businessman who had escaped from Castro. And in the midst of his story, one of my friends turned to the other and said, "We don't know how lucky we are." And the Cuban stopped and said, "How lucky you are. I had some place to escape too." And in that sentence, he told us the entire story. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. And this idea that government is beholden to the people, that it has no other source of power except the sovereign people, is still the newest and the most unique idea in all of the long history of man's relationship to man. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government, or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital plans our lives for us better than we can plan for ourselves. You and I are told increasingly that we have to choose between a left or a right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or a right. There's only an up or a down. Up, man's old age dream, the ultimate in individual freedom consistent with law and order, or down to the ant-heap of totalitarianism. And regardless of their sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would trade our freedom for security have embarked on this downward course. Was that a notice? Thank you. I will continue with more of this at the next session. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, on to our committee reports. Start with Mr. Peters.
Attended the Finance Committee and a couple of resolutions that we're going to talk about tonight.
Okay. Mr. Robinson?
Just a reminder, public service, next meeting will be September 7th
Okay.
at 6 p.m.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hitt?
Yep, I'm on the safety committee meeting, or on the safety committee, but I wasn't at the meeting this past Tuesday, but I'll give the fire chief's report that he submitted. I'll just read through it. As far as EMS training, They focused on pediatric trauma and nerve agents. As far as fire training, they focused on pump training. They also participated in the National Night Out. They assisted in the Rhythm and Rib Fest. They instructed CPR and fire safety training at Bluebird, and they hosted multiple station tours. And the next safety committee meeting is September 13th at 5 p.m. in the meeting room over here.
Thank you. Mr. Stahl?
I was also at the Public Safety Committee, and I'll be doing the police report. They were working with the London Schools MOU to create a school resource office position for the schools. The tentative agreement outlines the duties and responsibilities of the officer as well as the financial obligation of each entity. The school district will be paying 75% of each entry-level salary package to the city when it is approved. The department will be asking for one additional sworn position allotted to our agency's strength ordinance. LPD participated in the funeral of Clark County deputy killed in the line of duty and handled traffic and parking for the funeral of MCSO Deputy Beathard. Officers completed training in the single officer response to active shooting events, additional range training, including less lethal weapons, and subject control refresh training. They have worked on updating body camera and cruiser camera system to current cloud technology to alleviate the problem with malfunctioning body cameras. They were able to stay with the current provider, WatchGuard, which is Motorola, and they're in the process of acquiring the updated equipment and installation. National Night Out was held on August 2nd. Several residents visiting the office and participating service providers. The chief attended the FBI NAA National Convention held in Cleveland. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Stahl?
So BMU, we haven't met, so we'll be meeting next week, but just to give everybody updates, so we are trying to, with our dump station, Rumpke provides a compactor, and then they come, they pick up, take our trash away. And so since before I have been on council, it's always been Rumpke. We've never even got another bid. And so I tried, there's a contract usually for 3 years. I tried last time. We have actually made some progress. It was not the progress I was hoping, but Waste Management said they don't want anything to do with it. So that was not good, but Republic, we are discussing everything with them. The bids will be open tomorrow at 10. Rumpke will have a representative here. Please pray. Rumpke, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe they go up 3% every year. And so that's what they put into their contract for their services. And so we're hoping that maybe we can get that down. Our trash, we have sent a lot more trash out this year. I would have to double check it. I was told it was 50%, that we've taken in 50% more. That is a lot of trash. I don't know how we've taken in 50% more, but that's what I was told. But our recycling is up, which is great. But they don't handle the recycling, they handle just the trash. So please say a prayer tonight. Hopefully we'll get a good deal, get some good news from Republic, and get some good news. So.
All right, thank you. On to our city official reports.
Appreciate it. Yep. Good evening. Thanks everyone for coming out. So the end of the summer has been a busy one, but filled with many great things. We were able to bring the outdoor movies back, Movies by Moonlight this summer. Addams Family 2 was a huge success. Paw Patrol, the movie was canceled due to rain, but we do get a year to replay that movie, so we're giving it some thought about maybe trying to do something over the winter when everybody's kind of stuck inside and maybe show the movie in here. So working with the Park and Rec department on exactly what we want to do, or if we want to hold the movie until next year, or maybe if an event comes up or something, we have the license to be able to show that. I was invited back to the Ohio State Public Leadership Academy to speak with mayors that were currently in the prestigious academy. We were able to talk about the course and share ideas and talking about our experiences and our municipalities. So it was another great experience with the OPLA, and I was just honored to participate in the academy last year, and be invited back was a privilege. This month, as we just spoke about, was National Night Out, so I do want to thank the Police Department, Division of Fire and EMS, and all the other participants and everyone who came out to make it a great event. Rhythm and Rip Fest was great. Very well attended by the community. There was a few raindrops, but it really didn't stop people from coming down and having a good time and listening to some music and getting some great food. And then St. Patrick's just had their successful festival, so it's nice to have all these things going on in our community to give people things to do. I did participate in the dunk tank in both of those, so I can assure you that I am glad that dunk tank season is over. When I speak to local school classes, one thing I always talk about is just trying to step out of your comfort zone and do things that you've never really done before. So a couple cool things that I was able to do in the past month was I did participate in the Madison County Fair's Demolition Derby, and then I made my local theatrical debut in Mamma Mia, which was put on by the Madison County Arts Council. Both were a great time and something I really never saw myself doing. But as for the Madison County Arts Council, being backstage and being around all those actors, it is amazing how much local talent we have in the arts. So if you've never been to one of their productions, I do urge you to go see one of their productions coming up, because it was just fantastic. And they were packed houses all 3 nights, and everybody really enjoyed themselves. We had our Madison County Mayor's Committee meeting in late July, and after the meeting, we were invited and was able to go out to the Madison County Board of DD. You might have seen this in the paper. So local artist Jonathan Mullins Kimbler painted a large mural at their office to reflect the communities in the county. So all 4 local mayors went out and talked with Jonathan and saw his impressive work. And if you've not been able to see the mural, stop out there and check it out. Jonathan also has some of his local art here in our hallways too. Very talented artist. At that Madison County Mayor's Committee meeting, the big topic was Ohio Public Works Commission funding. So the OPWC funding, as we know, is the free money that's given out to each county, and then projects are submitted to be usually partially funded. We're all able to come to an agreement that the City of London will submit for this year's allocation of $700,000. So we've submitted our application to help fund the storm sewer infrastructure project on the south end. So that's the project that comes from the Choice 1 study we had done just a few months ago, if you guys remember all that. So we're hoping we'll be able to get that $700,000 and then start working with you guys to be able to get that project going so we can really alleviate some of the flooding issues that we have throughout the city. We have been meeting about fire hydrants throughout the city that need repairs or need replaced. The Water Department, in conjunction with the street and fire departments, have come up with a plan of action for the hydrants that do need repaired or replaced. A master list has been put together with completion dates, and the repairs and replacements have already begun. The majority of the hydrants will hopefully be repaired by the end of September. In City Council committee meetings, a discussion about the demolition of the old school is being discussed. We were awarded almost $500,000 for the demolition, which needs to be completed through the grant process by May of 2023. So we are working on some different ideas and plans how we will proceed with the demolition. I think we can all agree that the main thing is we need to focus on the kids and the continuation of youth athletics for the City of London. I did speak with Jim Hiles from the Pulte Group about their housing development as it's been tabled. Last week, he did report to me that their engineering company was held up due to weather, wasn't able to get out in those fields, but we're finally on site for their stream delineation. Once they get their report, they will determine what changes need to be made to the site plan. They've made some changes anticipating their report findings, but they can't finalize that without the plan in hand. So they'll be keeping me posted on their progress, but they do not feel that this will take much more time. On to the MOLO Fun Fact, which is the number 153. So this will be the 153rd annual commencement for London High School graduating class of 2023. 153. So with that being said, schools have started back. I do just want to wish all the students, faculty, and staff of all of our wonderful local schools good luck this school year. So, all right, thanks, guys.
Go into our old business, we have several tabled items. We have ordinance 14622, ordinance 14722, and ordinance 15122 are all tabled. And from what I understand, we still want to keep those tabled. They have not, the status has not changed for any of those ordinances. On to the second reading, Resolution 16922, a motion to read by title or number.
So moved.
Second.
All right, clerk, please read the resolution.
Resolution 16922, sponsored by Brian Robinson, a resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and enter into contract for the purchase of a pedestrian crosswalk equipment.
So this is for, to put pedestrian signs out at 12 different locations. This is just the equipment side of the things. It gives Safety Service Director the opportunity to seek out bids for that. It doesn't follow under the state bid process. So it's up to, not to exceed $190,000 for the equipment side. There will be more, another ordinance that would have to come along for the work that needs to be done for it, the installation. Sorry, if I can think about it.
Okay. Any questions on Resolution 16922? All right. On to our new business, Ordinance 17022, a motion to read by title or number.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Clerk, please read the ordinance.
Ordinance 17022, sponsored by Rich Hayes, an ordinance amending ordinance 17219.
All right. Let's see here. Is this safety? Someone else familiar?
Yeah, I think this is related to changing the pay range for part-time fire and EMS, part-time employees. Not sure what the pay range is right now, but this is 11 to 20, 11 to 13. So the fire chief felt that that was pretty low and wanted to increase that range to allow for more competition for, or retention of staff.
And it looks like it, range that they're requesting is anywhere between $11 to $20 per hour. And that should hopefully put us more in the range of what others would pay for part-time firefighters. Yes.
So Chief Eads called me, and I'll read this statement that he sent me. He said, "We are trying to stay competitive in a tight part-time job market. It gives the department more ability to attract and retain part-time firefighters, which will reduce overtime costs. Unfortunately, I am unable to attend this evening, but I am happy to further discuss this if there are any other questions. Current pay range is 11 to 13.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on this one?
Make more at McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
Popeyes has 16 an hour.
Yeah, it is. I think one thing that's interesting is the hourly rates have gone up, but then so have the prices and taxes. So it goes right back out the other end. Lots of people, they'll work here in the city, they'll get a job somewhere else, but then now they're paying for all this gas to get to their new job. So then they just lost that pay increase that they got for moving, to another location. So that is a really interesting dynamic of, what's happening with salaries and pay rates right now. All right, on to Resolution 17122, a motion to read by title or number.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all right. Clerk, please read the resolution.
Resolution 17122, sponsored by Josh Peters, a resolution increasing appropriations.
Yeah, this resolution, since the departure of our past Parks and Recreation Director, there's a payout. I guess not payout. Yeah. The payout, the unused vacation, sick time. We just need to appropriate an additional $20,000 to the salaries recreation line.
And it's just the Vacation, not sick time.
Oh, just
We pay out-
vacation?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just to clarify. So we had to pay her out when she left, so we actually brought in the two people kind of balances out that the director and the assistant is making less than the past director and assistant made, but starting off or whatever, but yeah, that's where it comes from.
Okay. Any questions on 17122? All right, 1-2, Resolution 17222, a motion to read by title or number.
So moved.
Second.
All right, clerk, please read the resolution.
Resolution 17222, sponsored by Josh Peters, a resolution increasing appropriations.
Yeah, this appropriations for upgrading the electric there at Cowling Park. We would need Ohio Edison to install a three-phase 600-amp transformer there on Park Avenue for a cost of $15,000, not to exceed $15,000.
Okay. Anyone have any questions on this resolution? All right. On to Resolution 17322, a motion to read by title or number.
So moved.
Second.
All right, clerk, please read the resolution.
Resolution 17322, sponsored by Josh Peters, a resolution increasing appropriations.
Okay, the appropriations for this one, once Ohio Edison does their part, then we'd have to install a 600-amp service to the park for upgrades. And this would be up to $45,000.
Okay. Any further questions on this resolution? All right, not on to ordinance 17422.
So moved.
All right, and the
Second.
second, all right, clerk, please read the ordinance.
Before I do that, can I ask for a sponsor? There's no sponsor listed for this one.
What is this one?
I can
Alley
sponsor it.
Vacation.
Is this a new one?
Yeah.
Yes, Alley
Yeah.
Vacation.
Oh, yeah, this is over at, yeah,
By Star
okay.
Trophy and
Right.
Fine Designs.
Okay. And has this already made it to the committee?
I wasn't at the last meeting, so I don't know if it was discussed in there or not.
It was not? Okay, yeah. So I recommend this goes to the committee to be discussed and then brought back to, because we can't,
Can we go ahead and read it for the first time, though?
yeah, go ahead and read it for the first time, but it'll need to go to the committee to be discussed, see if there's any further questions deeper into it. So we've already got a first and a second to,
Am I reading it without a sponsor?
I can
Andy?
sponsor it.
Andy? Thank you. Ordinance 17422, sponsored by Andy Hitt, an ordinance vacating an alley.
So my understanding is this is the alley by Fine Design,
Right.
that it's not really kept up or anything right now, and they would like to utilize that space possibly for parking or other uses. As far as utilities go, well, the petition's been signed off by abutting property members. And, as far as water department, they have no objections to vacating the alley. And as far as the sanitation, there's no objections to vacating the alley. As far as the Richard Duncan, is it? Sewer? They have no objections to vacating. Street superintendent has no objections to vacating the alley. So, it doesn't appear there's any objections at all to that. So,
Okay, so we'll take that back to the committee and we'll bring it
It
back.
has to be a
I don't-
public hearing, is that
Yeah,
right?
we'll have to schedule a
I
public
don't
hearing
think we can
after.
actually, can we send it back to committee
That's
with
my
5 of
question
us?
is what committee do you want to discuss
Yeah.
that? Because this isn't
This would be public safety.
safety. So,
Forest,
yeah, so I
alley
don't think
vacation.
they've gone before, and what, the question, why I'm asking the question is it's almost like a liquor license. So it's a citizen that is requesting this, that has paid a fee to have this read at city council. So it's not like a law or, so that's why I'm trying to figure out what committee it needs to be brought up.
Public Safety Committee,
Okay.
where alley vacations usually go. Also, before they come out of the committee, they usually have a sponsor on them, so that way they can be read in city council. So this one was brought to city council without previous discussion by anyone, and it was not even sponsored by anybody, so it just kind of showed up on our agenda, and it wasn't discussed by anyone, so.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't think that the alley vacations in the past have, like David Mars didn't go to committee, I don't believe.
Anyone know if his went there first? It should have, because someone had to sponsor it too.
I don't know. But my
So-
question is separate to all that.
Yeah.
I thought we had to have six to vote.
6 to suspend.
Oh, yeah, we can't suspend anything.
Right,
Yeah.
you can't
It'll go into
suspend, but
With-
I thought,
you have to have
okay,
six.
yeah, I could be wrong.
Yeah, you have
I
to 6
thought
to
when we-
suspend, we got.
It was for more than just suspension, though, because when the rules were changed, it was changed from having a majority and a supermajority to pretty much having a
6.
supermajority, which was 6.
6 to suspend.
But I
So
guess
we
we
can't
can,
suspend.
5 can vote on legislation, so it should be fine.
Five could vote on legislation,
Right,
but there's
okay.
nothing on
So
the
I'm
third
wrong,
reading.
okay.
Yeah.
So there's
And
nothing
then
Right,
this
to
would
vote
need a
on
public
tonight.
hearing too, anyway,
right,
so
so-
even if you voted,
So 5
it would
was-
still need a
okay.
public hearing.
Okay,
too.
my bad, my bad.
Yeah, so, and that, I think that was one of the issues too with the alley vacation that Dave Mars brought, wanting, I don't know if, it was almost as he was asking if we could skip the 3 reading rule or something to approve it, but you can't do that because it also needs a public hearing along with that, so,
Okay, so which one did you say, Henry? I apologize.
What's that?
Safety?
safety,
Okay, so will safety,
alley
please,
vacation.
safety, please put that on their agenda? Are you going to go ahead and?
Now, and I did have another question on this. From what I understand, they requested an alley vacation years ago, but it wasn't filed properly with the city, so it was not officially completed. That's what I understand.
I thought it was, because they had pallards and things blocking it off for years.
Yeah.
Then it turned into a private parking lot, and that was it.
So does anyone know what happened with that? Because from what I understand, it was requested and it was supposed to have been done, but it wasn't, the paperwork was not completed on the city side to officially vacate that alley.
I would have to say that was under the prior administration because this has never come before us.
It's
Okay,
been a
so-
good while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. So is there a way we could look into that to, because if it's already been acted upon, but it just wasn't completed on the city side, I don't understand, why they.
Because once they did that,
If it
they
just
had
needs
a,
completed, and why would they have to pay for another fee?
they had one of those big ballards on front of each end of it, so nobody could go down it as
Yeah,
far as
I would suggest you guys reach out to Jennifer. 'Cause
Yeah,
that-
let's do
she would
that.
have,
Yeah.
she would be able to look that up and make a legal.
Because they ended
ruling
up
on
getting
that.
knocked down, then it turned into a private
Right.
parking lot. That's all it's been for years.
Exactly.
now.
Yeah.
So, and we wouldn't want them to pay another fee if it's supposed to have already been done too, so. Yeah, let's get with our law director on that, to see if this even needs to come before us at all. So,
Are you going to go ahead and set up your public hearing? Just get the date
No.
out there so the citizens can know?
Read it once.
Yeah, so what would that be?
Yeah, you have did you count the date out on that? Do you want me to count that? You don't want to mess that up. Alright, so that would be on our council meetings do you have September 15th? Amy, did you come up with that too?
No,
Or do you have it?
I came up with October 6th.
That's
because
what I
it's
came
gotta
up
be
Because the
thir-
22nd, so
It's
after
got-
that.
well, it's just gotta
it would
be
have to
30
October
days.
6th. So we'll do October 6th for the public hearing if we do need this. Because we'll speak with our law director and they may already be covered, there may just be a finalization on the city side to complete the previous request.
And Henry, when you talk to her, I would ask, because my assumption, and I'm not the ball director, is that because it's been read, if you can't just pull it, so you'll have to vote it down. But
Right.
just ask her if
Okay, yeah,
if
to
that's
be sure.
how,
'Cause we wanna-
how it needs to be handled for this
Yeah,
one,
we want to
if-
make sure the tie-ins off.
Because, yeah, I have no idea about the past of what that was. so.
Yeah, okay, all right. All right, well, thank you, everyone. So we're on to roundtable. We'll begin with Mr. Smith.
Just like to thank everybody for coming out. Again, just, say a prayer tonight that we can get with Republic and maybe get a much lower bid than what we've been paying. So the next BPU meeting will be the 25th at 6:30 here. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Just want to thank everybody for coming out. I just hope the water situation gets taken care of soon.
All right, thank you. Mr. Day.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for being here and the research that has been done as far as looking into different topics. That probably involves a lot of time, and so appreciate the interest taken to look into different city topics that are going on.
All right, thank you. Mr. Robinson?
I do not have anything.
Okay, Mr. Peters?
The only thing I have is the high school football season starts tomorrow night, so dread the red.
All right, and again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Thank you for everyone that is viewing online, and thank you for all the research and time that everyone's put into everything. And thank you, Mr. Norman, and thank you as well, and thank you, Anita, for your reading. So, if there's nothing else, and a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Brent.
But there's no meeting there. 27th. The meeting would be on the, yeah, it'll be either it'll be the first, and then it'll be the 15th, and then, I did that before, like, oh, no, you gotta wait till the next one, because there's no more. I do that like every time.
So like the petition for alley vacation. So